Is the market crashing? That's the question we need to answer right now, today, on this episode. You're listening to Home Sellers Advantage. I'm your host, Aaron Zapata.
And I'm your other host, Todd Anderson. We are the Bald Brothers team at Impact Realty Group with Real Broker, and we are here to give you the Home Sellers Advantage.
You can find us online at www.baldbrothers.tv. Again, that's baldbrothers.tv.
Or you can call us at 833-305-BALD. That's 833-305-2253.
Todd, is the market crashing?
It depends. No, I'm just kidding. No, the market is not crashing.
How can you say that so definitively? I think we need to define that.
And define crashing.
Yes, and I think anybody listening to this needs to listen to the end.
Yeah.
Because we've got some great nuggets of truth, because there is hope at the end.
Yeah, it all depends on your mentality of what it means to be crashing. The market has slowed down. We know that. But Aaron and I, right before we started the show today, we were looking at some metrics on what's happening in the real estate market. And, you know, it's interesting because what we're seeing happening this year, what's happening right now, compared with previous years, is right in line with what we discussed in an episode several months ago, with the market pattern of basically sustained appreciation in the values of homes, and then a dip, and then a steady appreciation again, which we equated to being just like the square root symbol. If you recall, all of you mathematicians at home,
mathematicals, you're out there.
Do you remember
you like this?
What's the square root of 4? 2. You are a smart man.
Got it.
What's the square root of 2? That's a hard.
Exactly.
I need a calculator for that one. No, but the square root, the symbol. We're not worried about the math of it. We're talking about the symbol. And if you think about that symbol, how it goes long, then it dips, then comes back up a little bit higher, and then goes long. That's kind of, in a matter of saying, that's kind of what we see happening in the market, and we are seeing that happening right now, aren't we?
Right now.
The downward dip portion.
The downward dip portion. In fact, if you're watching us on YouTube, I'm going to see if Todd can put up the image of a square root. Will you throw that right here?
Okay.
You know, if you're listening to us on the podcast.
And if I fail and you're watching, I'm just going to draw it out for you.
Yeah. Thank you. You did that so well.
Oh, wait, this way.
No.
There we go.
It's still the same. It's still, as long as it wasn't like this way, right? Because that would be bad. So, anyways, we wanted to let you know where this information came from, because it's important. We're not just two talking heads over here, two talking bald heads. In fact, we are trying to analyze the market, because the whole point of our show is to give you information so that you can make intelligent and informed decisions for your family.
Yeah, for information, if you're planning on selling your home, whether it's now or in the future, but also for those of you who are in the process of selling your homes, and we speak this to our clients, to understand what's happening in the market right now so you know how to react to it. So that's kind of what we're looking at. We're knowing how to react and understanding and be able to read what's really happening in the market right now.
Right. And so very similar to individual stocks in the business world, how some are up, some are down. This information is for Southern California, and primarily now for a lot of California.
Yeah.
Because we're pulling our data from the California Regional Multiple Listing Service. And if you can see here on the screen, we have some data pulled up that we've been analyzing, and because Todd likes to do that. No, I like to do it too. Just kidding.
Yeah, you like to do it too.
I like the data.
You're a pretty big geek.
I like the data. Thank you. Thank you.
We're both nerds.
It says pretty big because I'm taller than him. But anyways, the data does speak for itself. And the California Regional Multiple Listing Service is a large multiple listing service. I think it's the second largest in the United States.
Yeah.
And so we've got some pretty amazing data. And this is the entire multiple listing service. So this is not just Southern California. It's not just LA. It also includes, Bakersfield and parts of the Bay Area. It's a really big data point for us.
Yeah.
And so what we're looking at now is we have to ask ourselves, okay, right now as we head into October and the end of the year, is the market crashing? Because buyers have this gut feeling that the market's crashing and they're waiting.
Yeah.
Sellers have this fear that it might be crashing, but are hoping that it's not.
Yep.
Okay, so we got two different competing emotions, competing fears, and the data shows us that every time this time of year comes around, that it starts to feel this way.
Yep.
This is not new to me.
It's not new, and the question is always around this time: is the market crashing?
Right.
And that's why I started out saying, well, it depends on your outlook, because if a crash for most people would be something that's dramatic, and by the way, dramatic and not anticipated. That's I think a key point as well. Because if you can anticipate things, you can make changes. And when you can make changes, you avoid the drastic from happening. And so we're seeing what happens pretty much every year at this time of year. But we also have the addition of every 4 years, there's something major that happens around this time of year, and there is a presidential election.
Is that what's happening?
That's what's happening. I don't know.
Heard about
for
it.
some people who haven't been paying attention,
Really?
there is
What's going on?
there is some
No.
there's a lot of news going on out there about this thing we call elections. And at this time of year, people tend to hold back. There's a lot of fear. And regardless of which way the election goes, normally after the election, regardless of which party wins, things start to go back up.
So what you're saying, Todd, is that because it's an election year, the normal pattern of things dropping off later, like let's say November, December,
Yeah.
has come a little early.
A little bit
It's
earlier.
an early Christmas.
Yep.
Yes, I agree with you. We started to see the slowdown really mid-August. I was expecting it to come kind of mid-September. In fact, I said, look, most of the deals we close this year are going to close by September 1st or by September 30th. And, you know, I'm not actually too far off.
Yeah.
Because we've got a number of listings right now that are active. Showings are down.
Yeah.
Offers are next to none.
Yeah.
And the ones that are coming in are very aggressively low. And so we're watching this real time and then also studying the data to ask the question, are we, the Bald Brothers, giving our clients good advice? Because we have, if the market is crashing, you want to get off of that boat as quickly as possible.
Yep.
Because in the day of age of data and buyers being smartest set of buyers that we've ever seen in the history of our world, they will pull back the strings and then the market will crash quickly.
Yeah.
Right. And so if we are dropping and we're crashing, you got to get off the boat. If we are just in for the end of season adjustment, like we always do, hold on, because January's coming.
January's coming.
Right.
And when we were looking at the numbers, visually, for those of you who are watching, you might be able to see a little bit about what's on Aaron's screen. But we pretty much can pinpoint where January is because it's the bottom of that curve. Every single bottom point we look at, there's the bottom. That's January of 2024. There's January of 2023. Just January 2022. So typically that's where we see the low point, and then things start at the beginning of the year start to pick back up. Prices go up. The number of offers goes up. The time that homes are on the market starts to shorten. All of those metrics start to change, and we typically can expect it.
Well, and let's look at some of this data right here because in 2023, last year, we had a low point, actually started in December of 2022, and it just ticked up $5,000. So January 2023 started at $975,000, just over that, for the average sales price in the entire multiple listing service that we use, $975,000. And then fast forward 12 months, in January of 2024, that jumped to $1,029,000. So it went up, a lot. It went up $50,000, over $50,000.
If you zoom out, you're seeing it's going up.
That's right.
On the short term, you see a lot of dips and valleys in between.
Right. What we do see, though, is that last year the market peaked in August, and then it started to dip in September. Okay, October, November, December drop off like normal.
Yep.
But then this year, because of the election year, and because of the proposal and the promise of an interest rate drop, I believe, and we saw this, that buyers started to back off.
Yeah.
Like earlier.
That's an important point. We didn't even mention that.
Election and interest rate promise of reduction. So May, not August, is going to go down as the high point of 2024.
Yeah.
And that is 1,210,000, almost 1,211,000, and that's up from the 1,029,000 in January. So that's a big increase, almost 20%.
Yeah.
But now we're dropping quite significantly. June went down, July went down, August went down, and I know September is going to be lower, and then even lower still going to be November and December.
Yeah.
I own a mortgage company and an escrow company, and we watch the data like that's our job.
You have to.
We have to. We have to make predictive analytics. We want to predict where the market's going. And so you look at something like this, like, okay, it's going to be slow fourth quarter. Yeah, it's going to be slow.
Yeah.
So if you're a seller and you're thinking, I can wait till January, give us a call right now.
We can start planning now.
We can plan now
for January.
Exactly.
And we have several clients that we're actually doing just that.
Yeah.
We are not just wasting time waiting for January to come or February, whenever they're listing. We're taking advantage of this time to help them plan and prepare so that when they hit the ground, they hit it running and they can take advantage of what's happening in the market.
And I do believe that this year being an election year is going to be a little bit different in that we might see a little uptick in December because the results of the election will have been declared.
Yeah, I agree. We're having people that are they're just waiting for that for November 5th. They're waiting to find out. November 6th, all of a sudden, they might be calling their lender saying, you know what? Now we know what's happening. Let's go ahead and make our move or whatever we're doing.
Well, and rates are going to be supposedly down again, like even more than they are now.
As well.
Okay, and so right now we're at like a lower point than we've been for a year and a half, 2 years. They're talking about lowering the Fed rate again, which will have an indirect but direct correlation with the mortgage market. So that may be down into the fives, your interest rates for your homes. If that's the case and the election is over, I think we're going to see a little uptick.
Yeah, and so you'll have buyers suddenly wanting to move. But then you also have sellers realizing, okay, well, you know what? Buyers are back. Let's go ahead and jump on this now.
Yeah. And we do see that pattern only one time in the last 5 years from my data chart. And you know when that same pattern happened from increase from November to December?
4 years ago.
4 years ago, right after the election happened in 2019, before the president was installed in 2020. So we do see that this is a pattern. So if you're a seller and you're nervous right now because nobody is knocking on your door, your realtor's not calling you, setting the appointments to show the home, you're just kind of sitting there twiddling your thumbs, wondering what in the world's happening, and election's happening. Interest rates are coming down. That's happening. And so you can do a couple things. Talk with your realtor about it. Figure out what your plan is. You might want to take your home off the market for 30 days. You might want to hold it off until next year. You might want to just sit this one out and not put your house on the market if you're not there yet. You might want to lower the price. I know some of you are moving out of state. We work with a lot of clients that are moving out of state. You may have already got your offer accepted in a state outside of California, subject to you selling your California home, and now you're in a bit of a panic. You might need to drop that price significantly
to keep things going where in the state that
going.
you're moving to.
Yeah.
And we have a client that thankfully is going to be closing escrow soon, and they were in a replacement home. They just got into the replacement home, and hey, we got to make sure this home closes and sells. And now they didn't have to drop the price. There were some other things that they had to do within the
But we went
escrow.
aggressively with a lower price
we
to
did,
start with.
We did aggressively with a lower price, and that brought multiple offers. Even at a time of year when a lot of other properties are sitting. So that method really worked for them, and it gave them some room to work where in the process of making sure they kept this escrow going so they can get into the replacement home, they were able to make some concessions, and they were still able to be able to afford the replacement home. Yeah.
And we give the same advice to our clients. It's not like we're here talking on the show to an anonymous public, whether or not you're watching us on our YouTube channel or listening to us on the podcast. We're having these conversations with our clients. One of our clients right now has improved the home. New carpet, new paint. We're doing some new photos. We're going to stay the course. We have had one price reduction, right? And we're going to stay the course because it's still a good buy even at the price where it's at now. We have another one that has done some upgrades. Buyers have given us feedback that says, hey, it's a little outdated on the kitchen design, stuff like that. So we had met with contractors and got them some bids to give them options, right? Do we want to invest in the home to get that peak price, or do we just want to sell it now? Do we want to wait? So we have those conversations right now with our own clients. So those are conversations you should be having with your realtor if you're in the process of selling your home. And if you're thinking about selling your home, give us a call.
Yeah.
833-305 BALD.
How long have we been doing this?
Oh, a long time.
833-305-2253.
That's right. It's BALD, BALD, okay, is the last 4 digits of the phone number. And that's a toll-free call that does go to our 24/7 answering machine company, and not answering machine, but answering service. Well, they will answer the call. They'll take your name and your information. Please give it to them. We had one person that called this weekend and hung up, and we can't call you back.
Yeah.
So that makes us sad.
You mentioned answering machine. It is a live, actual person who answers the phone. It's not AI. It's not a computer. It's a real person who will answer the phone.
Yeah. And speaking of AI, if you are interested, Todd and I are working on a project called the AI Podcast.
Yep.
And we, as developing realtors, as realtors who have to continue to improve our skills in an ever-changing real estate market, we want to always stay at the forefront of what's happening.
Of technology.
So,
so we're experimenting with that.
We are. So you can go, it's AI Podcast.
AI Podcast. I'll put a link to it in the show notes. We've got several episodes up there. One of the episodes that I came up with, I said, let's see if we can tell AI to do a podcast on quantum mechanics and draw a correlation between quantum mechanics, quantum physics, and the real estate market. And you know what? It did it. And the podcast was enjoyable to listen to.
Tell me you are a nerd without telling me you're a nerd. Okay, Todd. That's pretty cool. Actually, I listened to the episode, and it does an amazing job of putting those two together. But that's something that we're experimenting with, because we do know that as realtors, AI is a tool that we have not talked about on this podcast at all.
We really haven't.
We have not talked about it. But it is something that we incorporate already. We use it behind the scenes on quite a few things. And we are experimenting with the use of AI and real estate to help improve the process, the marketing for our own clients and for our properties that we're listing.
And that's one thing when it comes to anything that you're doing in life, but you have to stay relevant. You have to stay current. You have to know what's happening. We're talking today about knowing what's relevant in the market today, but we also have to stay on top of technology and where people are going, how to market, how to properly market to where people are. All of those things is very important to consider when you're hiring a realtor, to make sure that realtor is on top of the game, continuing to be educated and being current with what's happening.
Yeah, and our job, we get the privilege of working together, so we're bouncing ideas off of each other and always reading different things. And so we hope that, you find an agent or a group of agents that are going to be utilizing that kind of tool in your own process of selling your home. So I want to say a quick thanks to Beacon Escrow and to Crosswalk Mortgage and to my coach, Blue Elevator, who helps make this podcast possible. Ken, thank you so much. Thanks for being there. And want to just let you know, if you are thinking about selling your home, we are the Bald Brothers team at Real Broker. This is something that we get the privilege of Yes, this is something that we get the privilege of doing every day.
Aaron's been analyzing the charts too long.
I haven't. My brain is dead. Yes. No. The other chart that we didn't talk about is days on market.
Yeah.
And this one actually stops right at August. It's not quite updated September because we're still at the last day of September when we're recording this. But I can tell you from empirical experience, I'm living it out with our clients, the days on market has basically doubled.
Yep. We've seen that in all of our own listings.
Yeah.
And not just our listings, by the way. We are constantly talking to other agents in the markets that we're in to find out what's happening with them, and it's the exact same thing. So it's not just us.
Well, and I've been reaching out to clients in other states, not clients, but agents in other states. Hey, are you experiencing this too? Yes, yes. Everybody has said yes. Nobody has said no.
Yeah.
That tells me it's interest rates and election.
Yep.
It's not Orange County. It's not Austin, Texas. It's not, it's just the dynamics of the greater society in which we live.
Yep. That's right.
And you cannot separate your home sale from that.
Nope. You can't, using quantum mechanics, superposition your home to another plane of existence.
And with that, I'm totally confused. Do you sell
homes? I am too. I always sell homes.
We sell homes. We don't write quantum physics mechanics notebooks. But chat GPT can.
We stay with Newtonian physics.
Oh, thank you. Oh, man. Now you're getting over my head, too. I stay with what I can touch and feel.
Yeah.
What is that? Newtonian physics?
I'd say Newtonian physics,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. I also learned a new word
Basics,
from you, accoutrements.
Oh, yeah.
We'd gone on listening presentations, and he's talking about accoutrements. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I had to set him aside afterwards. I'm like, dude, you got to tell me these words before you say them because I'm going to look dumb, okay? But no, I appreciate you all being here. Todd and I really enjoy this show, and we hope that you do too. And so like it, share it, subscribe.
Do all the things.
Break the algorithm.
That's right.
Talk about us a lot. Give us 12 likes if possible. Anything else, Todd, before we close out?
That's it. That's
okay.
it.
All right. The data shows market's not crashing. Typical end of the year adjustments with an anticipation of a small uptick in December as the election will now at that point be behind us.
That's right. And we'll have to come back to this in January and see how accurate we were.
Yeah. And if you are thinking about selling now or in January or in December or in November or in 2026, our goal, Lord willing, is to be here, continuing to do what we love.
That's right.
All right. God bless you. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks for listening to the Home Seller's Advantage. The Bald Brothers team is a licensed DBA of Real Broker, licensed by the California Department of Real Estate, number 02022-092. Again, we do not give any real estate, legal, or financial advice. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can call us at 833-305-BALD, or you can reach us online at baldbrothers.tv. Equal housing opportunity.